I think okay, we can properly start the laws of indices now. So the first law of indices, coming. So the first law of indices, is, first law number one, that's law of multiplication. Law of multiplication. So the first law of indices is actually law of multiplication. Law of what? Multiplication. Please, it's not about no love. I love multiplication. Know what it's actually talking about. Do you understand? Now, what does love multiplication of indices says? What does it say? It says that, of course, you have an idea of what in this indices means now because of our previous class. So now let's look at this, everyone. We have, let's say we have x raised to power of m times x raised to power of n. You understand? So this is law of multiplication of indices. Of course, you're going to agree with me that this is about indices. Once you see a question like this, you know, oh, this is looking like a question under indices. Because in a question, you must be able to identify. Why? Because you can see that x is having a power of m, and this same x, you understand, is still having a power of what? N. So there's something you're going to see that is going to hint you that, oh, this is actually a topic under indices. Please now look. This m is the index, right? This n here is the index. This x here is the base. This x here is also the base. So the law of multiplication of indices is saying that when you have something like this, you understand, and you have multiplication between them, you are multiplying them. You understand? You have the same base. Look, this x is a base. Look at this x also here. It's a base, right? So when you have the same base, like this is x, this base is base of this power. This power is n, which is also index, right? You know that power is also index. So this x now is the first base. This x is also the second base. So law of indices is saying that whenever you have the same base, like x like this, it's law of indices says that pick one of them. Pick one of them like this. You understand? Please, I'm still going to explain further. Don't worry. Log indices is saying that pick one of them like this. Do you understand? Then this power, the first power, what is the first power? Is it not m? Good. Write it. Write it on top here. Law of indices also says that this, what is this sign? Multiplication. And that is why we call it law of multiplication. Some people will now forget law of multiplication. I will tell you why people forget this law of multiplication. Don't forget that this is multiplication, and that is why it is law of multiplication of indices. So this multiplication turns to addition like this. It turns to plus. But this plus, don't go and put it, here, because it is the law of multiplication of indices is addition of the powers. So anyway, I said when you have the same base, law of multiplication of indices, when you have the same base, pick one base, the first power, write it. This multiplication in indices means plus, and you can see I'm putting my own plus. Good. Then the second power is what? N. So write it. So this is all about law of multiplication of indices. Now, let's say the first example, for example, we have let's say we have 2 raised to power of 3, you understand, times 2 raised to power of 2, you understand. So this is going to give us what? This is going to give us, according to this law of multiplication, you can see that the base here is 2, the base here is also 2. Am I right? So you're going to basically pick one base. Pick one base because the base are the same thing. Can you see 2 and 2 base? So you pick one of them like this. Pick one base. The power here is 3, right? Write it. This multiplication, what is this supposed to mean? Good, plus. It means plus. Then the power here is what? Is 2. Am I right? So good. So then you say is equals to 2 raised to power 3 plus 2 is going to give us what? 5. You understand? Good. That is how to apply the law of multiplication of indices. But now let me tell you, let's reflect on why is this correct? Why is this correct? Imagine somebody give us something like this: 2 raised to power of 3 times. It's still the same question I want to analyze here. So 2 raised to power of what? 2. You know, if we are not relying on the law of indices, we have to do something like this. You understand? We have to say 2 raised to power 3 means 2 times 2 times 2. I hope you are not going to say 2 raised to power 3 is 2 times 3 again, because we already said it in the previous video that this 2 raised to power 3 is actually not 2 times 3, is actually 2 times 2 times 2. You understand? So this is it. Then remember, this 2 raised to power 3 is this, right? This times, you write it. Then 2 raised to the power of 2 is what? 2 times 2, meaning 2 in 2 places. Multiply this 2 in 2 places. So you are going to say, if you are to put all the number, in index form together, so we have the same 2, right? Pick 1. Then how many of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see now it is 5. But indices says that please don't do this. Don't go through this long method. I want to help you. Look at this simple method. Just pick one base because the base are the same thing. Then add the power. Why somebody will just say add the power? Why are we adding? It's because it is multiplication. Because if it is division, please never add the power. If it is division, you have to apply the law of division. Indices as law for division, as law for other things that we're going to be talking about. You understand? So now what I'm saying now is that law of multiplication of indices is very simple. This multiplication means addition. Do you understand? Good. That is that for that. Now, another example. If you have x raised to power 5 times x raised to power minus 2, you understand? Then this is going to be giving us what? Now, the first thing is that you know that this is multiplication, and you can see. So this question is under indices. Some people will be confused that why am I having minus 2 here? Please, they can give you anything as a power. Your own is that apply the law the way it should be applied. What did we talk about the law? What did we say? We said that pick one. Can you see this x base? They are the same. Pick one of them because they are the same thing. So you are meant to pick one base. So once you pick one base, then the power of the power of the first one, the power of this one is 5. Am I right? Please write it. You can see the way I'm applying my own. Very simple. Now, what about this sign? Some people will just ignore this sign. They will not jump to this minus. They just say minus. No, please don't do that because you are bound to make mistakes in when it comes to division. So apply the thing the way it should be applied. So the first thing is that pick one base. Can you see? The first power is 5. This multiplication is the law itself. So put it. What is the multiplication? Addition. So put addition. You understand? So now the second power is minus 2. Of course, you know that you're going to put brackets. Before you write the minus 2, you put in brackets minus 2. You understand? So that is that. Now the thing is that I know that some people will still have problem. The reason why some people used to have problem is that it's not actually they don't understand this law itself, which is x to the power 5 times x to the power minus 2. This is going to give us x to the power 5 plus open bracket minus 2. The thing is that sometimes they make mistakes. Okay, I think I'm going to give that kind of example very soon. They make mistakes because they don't understand multiplication of signs. You understand? And also they make mistake when they are trying to add negative and positive numbers together. No, I'm going to break it down. Don't worry. Now, one thing is that what we just did there, somebody will say, why is it not that you can see 5, let's say 5 plus minus 2. How does this look? It doesn't look good. You understand? The plus and minus thing together. How do you even know which one to apply or what to do? So what you're going to do now is that this second one has to be put in bracket like this. It has to be put in bracket. That was why we put this one in bracket. So anytime you want to write something is already having sign, if you want to write the second one, you have to put it in brackets. You understand? So now let me quickly write this up here. I hope you're going to master it. Look at this. Plus times plus okay, I'm sorry, I can't clean this. So let's say plus times plus is equals to plus, minus times minus is equals to plus, plus times minus equals to minus, and minus times plus is equals to minus. Please take your time to master all these simple things. I think the problem that we students used to have in mathematics is not because they are not supposed to understand, but because there are basic things that they don't understand. So please look, this is multiplication of sign. Can you see multiplication? So if how do you multiply signs? Now look at this sign plus. What is it? Plus, right? What is this sign? Plus. Are they not the same thing? It will give me plus. Look at this second sign too. Minus. What about this minus? Are they not the same thing? Good. Their multiplication will also give me plus. Why? Because they are the same sign. So the thing is, when you multiply the same sign, plus times plus is going to give me plus. Minus times minus is going to it will give you plus. Look at this other two. We have plus times minus. That's minus. They are different signs. Anytime you are multiplying different signs, is minus. Minus times plus, they are also different. So it's going to give me minus. I think that's a good way to quickly know this. Now, I haven't known that. I want to tell you again that bracket like this means times. This bracket means times. Do you understand? Bracket means times. Please don't take note of this, and then the meaning of this bracket. Bracket means what? Times. Please don't forget. So now let's apply it to what we have written here. So we're going to have our x, right? Good. Our 5, we are going to write our 5. You understand? Now, the thing is that this plus, we are going to use this, what is outside, to open this bracket. So we say plus, don't forget, I said bracket means times. So plus times minus. Well, somebody will say plus times minus 2. Well, you're good, because actually here after this plus there's supposed to be a number which is 1, but we don't need to write that 1. Do you understand? So I'll basically say, I can say plus times minus, because bracket means times. So somebody will say, where did you see your own times? Well, I already said it, that this bracket means what? Times. Do you understand? So plus times minus. Let's look here. Plus times minus is minus. Well, if I were you, I wouldn't look again, because I know that any different sign, if I'm multiplying different signs, always give me minus. So then these two, I'm going to write it here. You understand? Good. Now, one other thing is that, please, whenever you are trying to subtract like this, you understand? I'm going to repeat the same question, but I will switch this like this. The minus will be here and the plus will be here. But now look, x to the power 5 minus 2. What does it mean? Now, in mathematics, plus like this means I am having. Plus means what? Having. And minus like this means owing. Plus means having in mathematics, and minus means what? Owing. Please take note of that. Plus means what? Having. Minus means what? Owing. Do you understand? So now, if I write, sorry for writing all of this. So if I write something like plus 2, it means I'm having 2. If I like, I can say I'm having 2 naira, I'm having $2, whatever. So plus 2 means I am having. It is my money. It is my money. If I say minus 5, I am owing. So it is not my money, I'm owing someone. So minus means owing, plus means having. Now look at this. And in mathematics also, please, all these basic things, write them down, try to master them, and you see that all these things are very simple for you. So now, if I want to write plus 2 in mathematics, if it is the first number, I'll just need to write 2. I don't need to put plus, because it's the first number. Do you understand? So this 2 means plus 2, but I don't need to put plus here. Do you understand? Just like this 5 here, I'm supposed to write plus 5, but I don't need the plus. I should know that it is plus. You should know that it is plus, because it's the first number. So I was saying 5. I'm having 5, because what here is supposed to be plus. So I'm having 5. I am owing 2, right? So don't forget, you're going to write your x here first. This is your x, right? Then what about this? Minus means what? I'm having 5 plus supposed to be here. I'm having 5. I am owing what? 2. Now, you to think about it. If you are having 5 naira and you are owing 2 naira, are you going to be having money at the end of the day, or you are going to be owing? Of course, you are going to be having, because the amount you are having is more than the amount you are owing. So you're going to be having 3, Abi. So just write 3. You don't need to put plus, because it's just if the first number and it's a single number. So this is the answer to this question. Now imagine that we have something like this: x raised to power minus 5 times x raised to power what? 2. So this is going to be equals to x raised to power what? So I said, look at this. You pick one base. I think you should be used to this already. Pick one base, right? Now go to the power here. What is the first power? It's actually -5. So write -5. You understand? Then what does this multiplication? What does it mean? What does multiplication mean? It means plus. You understand? And what is the second number? You can see there's no minus, there's no sign, there's no minus here. Good. I'm going to just write 2, right? No bracket this time. So I'm going to write 2 like this. Now remain. So that's going to be x. Then what is the power here? Look at this power. What is this power? -5. What does -5? Some people just say -5 plus 2. That they just write 3. And you will say, I kill the question. You did not kill it. -5, I am owing 5. I told you, minus means owing, right? So I am owing 5. -5, I am owing 5. I'm owing 5. Plus 2, I am having 2. So if you are owing somebody 5 naira, and you are now having 2 naira, are you going to be having or owing? You are going to be owing, right? Good. Because you are owing, how much are you going to be owing like that? I'm going to be owing 3 because I'm owing 5 and I'm having 2. So I'm owing 3 now. If I pay the 2, right? Of course. So that would be owing. Because this owing means minus. So I'm owing what now? 3. So this is the answer. Minus x power minus 3. Do you understand? So, and I think people used to think that, law of multiplication of indices is only about one single numbers. No, it's not about single number. Look at this question now, everyone. So if I have this question, okay, let me just say, okay, let's say we have 2x. Well, I can use other variables. So I can say 2a raised to power 3 b times 5a raised to power minus 5. You understand? B raised to power 2. Now look at this question, everybody. Some people might become confused that why are the numbers and variables together? Why are they no? 2, you can write, that you can have 2a raised to power 3b, right? Good. And you can have 5a raised to power minus 5, b raised to power 2. So you can have any number. So you understand? The one is that, this you have to apply the law of indices. Now the question is that, how do I apply the law of indices? Yeah, some people don't know how to go about this. Now the first thing is that, please, you have number and you have variables. So you pick them one after the other. The first thing is you deal with the numbers first, which is this. Now, remember, we do apply the law of indices only when the variables are the same, like they're having the same base. When the variables are having what? The same base. Only when what? The variables are having the same base. Now look at this 2. The base is 2. Now the thing is that some people also don't know that this 2 is actually 2 raised to power 1. Can you see any power here? No index, no power here, right? It is 1. Anytime, look, let me write something like this. If I write 2 like this, in mathematics, it is raised to power 1. So I don't need to write 1. Whenever it is 1, I don't need to. There are things that you yourself, you have to know within yourself that if somebody writes 5 like this, then it is 5 raised to power 1. The person does not need to write 1. Anytime it is 1. And that is why, look, everybody, if I have a in mathematics, it is 1a. This 1 is what we call the coefficient. This 1 that is here is what we call the power. You understand? But in mathematics, we don't like writing 1. So I clean the stuff. So I only write a. I don't need to write 1a is per 1. No, that 1 is somehow. So we don't write it. So you understand? You yourself need to know that the power of this is 1 and the coefficient of this a is. Of course, I don't want to be breaking down coefficients. We are not where we are supposed to be learning about coefficients now. So here now, you will need to apply law of indices, right? But can you apply the law of indices to 2 and 5? Because this is the number here, this is the number here. Of course, they are not having the same base, right? So what you do now is evaluate them. That is, multiply them. Just multiply them because you cannot apply the law of indices to them. They're having different base. Remember I said here earlier that law of multiplication of indices, not only law of multiplication, when we get to each law, we are going to break it down. Look, pick one base because they're having the same base and add the powers together. That's just it. So these 2 and 5 are different base. So you are going to just multiply them, that is, evaluate them when you cannot apply the law of indices. So you say 2 times 5 because it is the law here is times. So you say 2 times 5 because you cannot apply the law of indices. Just say evaluate them. So 2 times 5 is what? 10. Write your 10. So having written that, then look at the next thing. The next term is a. We have a raised to power 3. Am I right? Isn't it? So we have a raised to power 3 here. We still have a raised to power 5 here, minus 5 here. So meaning that the law of indices can be applied to this because the base here is a, the base here too is a, right? You can see this multiplication is separating them, right? Good. Now, because they're having a as a base here to write one a, so write a like that. Now, what does the law of multiplication say? Because you can see multiplication here. The first power is actually what? 3, right? Okay, so since the first power is 3, then the second one, well, are we going to say the second one? No, the law itself is this. So what does the law mean? Plus. So you write your plus like this. Now, what is the power of this one? Minus 5. Are you going to write the minus 5 like that? No, I said you're going to put bracket because of the sign. So you have minus what? Minus 5 like this. So you close the bracket. So the next thing is that, okay, you're done with A like that. What about the next? So we have B. So the power of this B is actually what? Is raised to power 1. Because some people will not know how to put, they put 0. No, it's not 0. Please, B's, they don't need to write the 1, that's why. So B here did not put any power and say, I did not put power. Yes, they are not supposed to put it because it's 1. So you put it yourself here. So B raised to power 1. Somebody will now say, why are you now putting it? Because I want to apply the law, so I have to put it. So 1. Multiplication means what? Plus. And what is the power here? It's actually 2. Then I think I can now do everything like this. So I'll just say 10 a raised to power 3. Then I open the bracket. Plus times minus is actually minus. We know that already. So then we have 5. Am I right? So B, that will be B raised to power what? 1 plus 2, that is what? 3, right? Then I'm going to rewrite this. So that's going to be equals to 10 a raised to power what? 3 minus 5. Then comes this question. Some people used to make mistake a lot. That I don't want you to make a mistake. That's the thing. That's why I'm emphasizing on this. Don't just say 3 minus 5. No. Ask yourself, this 3, is it plus or minus? Plus, because I don't need to put the plus here. So plus 3 means I am having 3. Just be using having and owing. I'm having 3. Then minus 5 means I'm owing 5. If I'm having 3 and I'm owing 5, am I going to be having or owing? Of course, I'm going to be owing. How many? 2. So I'll say I'm owing 2. And it's going to be minus 2 and not 2. You write 2, you fail it. So the next thing is B. So B raised to power what? Yeah, B raised to power 3. And this is going to be our final answer based on the law that we have treated. Of course, I can still break this down like this minus 2, law of negative power, but we are not there. So this is going to be our answer. I think we have been able to deal with most things that we need to deal with in indices. But lastly, I'm going to solve this question. Okay, now let's say we have this question like 2 for the 3 times 3. 3 raised to power 2. You have to express this number in index form or to simplify this number. And the answer, they didn't write a single number as the answer. So basically, you know that this has to do with law of indices. But please, I forgot to tell you something. Indices is about breaking down. Let me write it here. So indices is about breaking down. So always remember this. Indices is about breaking down. Indices is about breaking down. So when you'll be using that most is when you're having numbers that their base is not a prime number. When you're having when you're having a number that their base is not a prime number. What am I saying? You know, the other time I said when you have like 25, me myself now, if I say 25, somebody says 25, I will quickly my brain will quickly tell me 5 raised to power 2. You understand? Because you know we broke that down the other time in our previous video. If I say 8 now, my brain will tell me 2 raised to power what? 3. If I say 16, my brain will tell me 2 raised to power what? 4. All of this, I don't need to be drawing table for them. You understand? But when you have the one you don't know like that, but train yourself to know most of them. If you have like 81, 9 times 9 is 81. So that's going to be 3 raised to power. So if you have 27, for example, that's 3 raised to power what? 3 raised to power 3. And if you have 81, that's going to be 3 raised to power 4. Somebody will still be asking, how did you get all of this? Now, well, use this one that we want to do as an example to understand how we got all of this. So when you have this, you can see that the base here, this 5, which is the base, the prime number. This 2, which is the base, the prime number. This 2, which is the base, the prime number. This 3, which is the base, the prime number. This 3, which is the base, the prime number. So that's why I said English is about breaking down. So anytime you have that, please remember, anytime you have these numbers, remember all of to break down like this. Now, this 243, well, I'm going to say 243, express this 243 in index form first. You understand? So somebody might not know how to break this down. So I'll just say 3. Of course, this number is ending with prime number, odd number, right? And then it cannot be divided by 2. So I will not consider 2. So the next prime number is 3, Abi. Can 3 go in 243? Yes. You have to train yourself, please. 3. 3 in 2 is not possible. So take the first 2. 3 in 24 is what? So 3 in 24 is 8. So 3 in 3 is what? 1. Can 3 still go in 81? Of course, 3 can go in 81. So you say 3. So you do it 1. 8 is what? It's 2. Remain what? It remains 2. So put it 1 is what? 7. Can 3 go in 27? Of course, you know 3 times 9 is 27 from your multiplication table. So 3 here, 3 in 27 is what? It's actually what? 9. Do you understand? So can 3 still go in 3? Yes, of course. So write 3. So 3 in 9 is actually 3. So can 3 go in can 3 go in 9 rather? 3 can go in 9. So that's 3. Can 3 go in 3? Yes. 3 here what? 1. Do you understand? So that means 243 equals to 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times what? Times 3. So which is same thing in index form, that's 3 raised to power 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 raised to power what? 5. So now this question, everybody, I'm going back to this question, which is which is now going to be equals to, go back to this. Can you see this question? So that's going to be 3 raised to power 5, you understand? Then times 3 raised to power what? 2. So that's going to be 3 raised to power 5 times 3 raised to power 2. That's going to be, according to law of indices, pick one base because they're the same. Power here is 5. Multiplication means plus, and the power here is what? Is 2, right? Good. That is going to be equals to 3 raised to power of what? 5 plus 2 is going to give me what? It's going to give me 7. So, and I think we should call it a day here. You understand? So, but before we call it a day, let me quickly solve this last question. I feel like solving it. We are still going to solve questions, but I'm treating the law first. I want to treat all the laws very well first. So now we're picking examination questions, because if you are solving questions without knowing the basic things like this, you will not understand. You just be crap. You just know how to solve a particular question and not know how to apply what you have, all these laws. So application is very important. So understand all these basic things. I understand how you have the experience you have had solving each question. So now look at this question. So if I say 2 c raised to power 4 d raised to power of 2 e raised to power of what? E raised to power of 2 times minus 5 c raised to power of 2 d raised to power of 3 and e. I'm very sure that this should be very simple for some people already. So please, now do you remember what we said? Don't say this too much. CD, you don't even have any problem with that. Your own is the apply law of indices. Look at the first. You deal with the number according to our previous the example we've done before. Look at the number 2. Yeah, 5, right? Good. So can you apply law of indices? No, because the base are different. So you multiply them, right? You multiply because this is multiplication, this is multiplication. So here, what is the sign here? Is there's nothing, Abby, so it is plus, right? So multiply the sign because I'm adding sign here. So that's why I'm going to do that. So plus times minus is actually what? Minus. Remember now, plus. Somebody will say, where is this plus? It is invisible. We already said that. So plus, then times minus. So it is going to be minus. So any different sign, now if you multiply different sign, that's minus. Then 2 times 5, that's what? 10. And somebody can be asking, why did we multiply? Because we cannot apply law of indices. We know the base must be the same. And this 2 now is having a power, but the power is not this because it's 1. So, and this base 2, base 5, they are not the same. So you cannot just evaluate them like that. The next is what? C. Of course, there's C here too. So meaning that you can see C and C, they are the same base. So pick one base. Base is actually C. The power of the first one is actually 4. You understand? Now, this multiplication, what does it mean, please? What does this multiplication mean? It means plus, Abi, right? So this plus. Then what is the power of this second? So this is actually 2. Then what's the next thing? D. So pick D like this. What is the power of the first D? Is actually what? 2, right? What is the sign? This multiplication means what? Plus, right? So put plus. Then what is the power of the second D here? That is 3. So write your 3. What's the next? E. What is the first power? 2. Multiplication means what? Plus. You can see the way I'm applying my own. Some people will just forget the law. Multiplication means plus, so you have to apply it. So this plus. So what is the power here? Some people say 0. No, we already said is this power 1, but we don't need to put 1 if you're writing it like this. So yeah, the power is 1. Don't go and write 0. If I write E like this, is equals to E raised to power 1. So remember. So this is going to give me minus 10 C raised to power what? 4 plus 2 is actually what? 6. D raised to power what? 2 plus 3 is what? 5. E raised to power what? 2 plus 1 is what? 3. So that is our answer, and that is how to go about this. Thank you very much. So the next is law of division of what? Law of division of indices. So look at that too, and then I think once we look at that, look at all other laws, then we'll now begin to solve examination question. You see that it's going to be very simple. Why? The reason is that you understood the basic thing that you're supposed to understand. So that is that for that. Please try to comment and point out some things that you want us to, that you want me to improve on. Thank you very much for this.